For my first experience with director Federico Fellini, I think I may have been a bit spoiled with Amarcord, which is by far his most colorful and epic of films. This was long before I started taking note of the Criterion numbers. It just happened to be the only Fellini film that I could find at the video store when I was a teenager. Amarcord may be Fellini's most personal and nostalgic of films. It's considered a bit of a semi-biographical picture by some based on the fact that it follows a young boy growing up in 1930s Italy, echoing Fellini's childhood of growing up in a seaside town of Italy. Set in the village of Borgo San Giano, the film is not only about the boy, but everybody in the town. We go to the local school and witness how fascist education is a dry and mundane experience. We witness a bonfire in the town square and fireworks in the streets. We sit in on a conflicted boy unsure if he wants to confess in the church about his masturbation. Fascist officers tour the town for inspection and stagger to maintain order in their violent outbursts. Daydreams are had about romance throughout the town. A patient of a mental institution refuses to come down from a tree. A fog disorients the town, but a car race excites them. Winter brings snow and death, while spring brings a wedding and a desire for escape. I'm tempted to say it's an almost indescribable sensation, existing somewhere between a slice-of-life drama and a meandering comedy. A lot of the film is exaggerated, sure, but there are shades of truth blended into such a colorful and cantankerous world. There's a real spectacle to this town that gives it a dreamlike quality. There's so much going on, and all of it just feels like a lavish presentation devoid of melodrama. The mental patient's refusal to come down from the tree is treated more with energy than contemplation. The group masturbation scene is treated with exaggerated humor, with taking place in a car as the frame bounces up and down. The satirical elements are also pretty blunt. The marching of the fascists feels more like a cavalcade of clowns than an imposing force. The Catholic Church is also treated with a stumbling nature in how it handles sins. Now, on one level, this base ensemble of characters may be baffling for some, especially for those who have come to associate with Fellini's more richly developed characters of his filmography. But this meandering anthology has a certain glow to it that tries to place the viewer in this world. In some ways, the film almost feels as though it's not trying to replicate Fellini's childhood, but rather his own hazy memories of childhood. After all, Fellini was pretty explicit about this film not being autobiographical. The film gravitates more towards the familiar sensations than it does arcs. Vignettes of romance and angst are observed, but they don't carry the film. Seasons pass and the town changes with its weather and events. For being so lush in its beauty and light in its narrative, Amarcord is considered one of Fellini's best films. It was lavished with praise upon its release and would win the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. It's fitting that such a film became the first letterboxed movie on the short-lived format of the CED system in 1984. For being so grand, Amarcord may also be Fellini's most humanist of films, considering how it basks in the folly of man and the lacking conscience of village life. There's this mild sense of desperation coursing throughout the film where you feel that the characters really want to break free, but cannot do so for the sense of maintaining some semblance of contentment. When I first saw the film as a teenager, I was kind of baffled by the picture, but as time went on, a handful of scenes started creeping back into my memory. They lingered for either their beautiful staging or just for the absurdity. I returned to the film years later, and it had this weirdly comforting quality to it. Now for this video, I recently rewatched the film, and it's still pretty damn mesmerizing. Even though my favorites of Fellini are still along the lines of 8.5 and La Dolce Vita, it's hard to deny just how gorgeous and whimsical Amarcord truly is.